All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome. Let me just make sure the waiting room is off while y'all are coming in. Welcome to this event. We would love to hear from you in the chat about where you're coming in from, if this is your first Nomadic Network event, or if you've been to many of we have had hundreds of events. So let us know how many you've been to and where you're coming in from. So I'm coming in from Buffalo, New York, and Angel is coming in from LA, I believe, right?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So we're like on two sides of the US, and I know everyone is all over the place. So let us know. I love to see where people are. First event, welcome from Portland. Awesome. So we're gonna get started. Angel has so much to say, so much knowledge to drop, and I know everyone's gonna have so many questions. So I'm just gonna share my screen real quick and introduce the Nomadic Network to those of you who are new and kind of share um, how we do it here. So let's see. Let me share my screen. Here we go. Okay. So it comes up in the middle of my screen. Okay, here we go. So yeah, welcome to the Nomadic Network. So TNN is a community for travel lovers founded by Nomadic Matt in 2019. So we've hosted over 250 events. I think maybe it's up to 300 at this point. So we started in 2019 doing like all gung ho for in-person events, and then 2020 happened, and we all know what happened there. So we shifted to doing virtual events. It was actually really great because now we've kept doing these virtual events, and so we're able to bring travel experts to you from all over the world and share their knowledge. And we're super grateful to our experts who come to share everything they have learned about travel and with you guys. So yeah, we're still doing these virtual events, but we are also now doing in-person events as well. We have chapters all over the world where we have like monthly meetups, doing lots of fun different things, just where you can connect with other travel lovers in your area. So check out our brand new website. It's thenomadicnetwork.com, and you can see if there are events happening in your area. And if there's not, then you can. That something weird just went across my screen. I don't know if you can see that. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Um, so these are some of our like just in-person events. We always have such a good time, get travel lovers together, and it's going to be a good time. We're going to chat all about travel. So yeah, you can follow us all over. Instagram and TikTok are kind of our main jams. So the Nomadic Network on both of those. And you can register for our in-person events. And we've also started doing group tours. So we're super excited about that because we want to travel with you guys and kind of showcase destinations that we know local experts in, places that Matt has great connections. And so we have a ton of group tours happening, kicking off in the spring and the fall. So if anyone wants to go, we're doing tons of that. I'll be on the Costa Rica tour in April. If anyone wants to travel with me, we have 2 spots left on that one. And then we're going to be in Jordan, Mexico, all over the place. So check that out. So that was just my reminders real quick, very important. So we like to see everyone here. So if you want to keep your video on, like please do. Just make sure that you're muted and pop in the chat so you can chat with other people share your experiences. Like we love that. That's what we're here for. If you have a question, just type like question all in caps so that I can just monitor the chat and pull out your questions. And at the end, I'll ask Angel all of your questions so that she can just focus on giving her amazing presentation. So yeah, just do that. And I know as a speaker too, it's nice to like see other people's faces. So if you want to keep your video on, we'd love that. Yeah, so, and then I will be throughout this dropping links to connect with Angel after this. So you can be sure to find her all over the place. So I believe that is it. And I'm going to introduce her real quick and then I'll let her get started. Give me a second here. Okay. So Angel is the founder of Pennywise Traveler, where she shares her experiences traveling across all 7 continents while making smart money moves. She teaches people how to maximize points to save money and travel on a budget. She's been featured on The Today Show, Forbes, CNBC, BuzzFeed, and Bank of America, and creditcards.com for her work in money, travel, and technology. and she is all over the place sharing her awesome knowledge. So like I said, I'm going to drop those links. But that's about it from me. I am going to turn it over to Angel so she can get going. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for welcoming. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I'm not sure where everybody is located in since we're all in different places around the world. Give me a second while I share my screen. Let me see. And then let me see if I can go slideshow over here. Okay, perfect. You guys can see everything, right? Yes. Okay, perfect. So my name is Angel. I'm gonna give a presentation today for travel hacking for maximizing credit card perks and benefits. So for those that missed the quick little video that we did on the Nomadic network together, there's a lot of, the annual fee is not the problem on the credit card. The problem might be that you might actually not know how to use the different benefits on the credit card. So that's what we're gonna go over today. We're gonna go over different credit cards and different benefits. Sometimes credit cards have overlapping benefits on different cards, such as the auto collision damage waiver, but they have different perks on each one where there are certain restrictions. So we're going to go over the different restrictions and different types of credit cards and which one might be best for you, depending on your different situation. Okay, so this is a quick recap of me. My name's Angel. I teach people how to maximize credit card points to save money and to travel for less. I've been over 36 countries in all 7 continents. I've been on Today's shows, CNBC, and creditcards.com. And you can find me on Instagram mostly. That's my main social media platform where I give a lot of tips about using different credit cards, different stacks, and different ways to save money. Okay, so why should you maximize credit card perks and benefits? The reason why is that it's always good to have a credit card sign-up bonus, but that's not the only core thing of a credit card. A credit card also has a lot of different perks and benefits that you want to take advantage of. Because most of the times when people sign up for the credit card, they think that it's only about the sign-up bonus, which is helpful, of course. But there's more things you can do with the credit card besides the sign-up bonus. You have to look at the different benefits. So an example is there's travel protection such as trip delay, trip cancellation, trip interruption. I think this, sorry, I'm gonna minimize this. And then there's also entertainment credits such as Disney and Hulu Plus. And there's also statement credits such as for the gym for Equinox. And then there's also other benefits for like check baggage, airline fee credits, and cell phone insurance, Uber credits, and Lyft Pink membership. The cell phone insurance is a very good one too. You just need to pay your credit card in full with a cell phone where you get it charged in, and it has to be the same name as yours. So that's just one example of what something you might be overpaying on. For Uber, a lot of the credit cards, some of them, they break it out in monthly credits where you have the Uber credits. And then for the gym statement credit, that as well, and for entertainment and travel productions. Oops, why is it not going? Sorry, one second. Oops. So why do credit cards have so many different benefits? The reason why is that they want to be competitive. There's a lot of different credit cards to choose for. And luckily, you can, today's presentation, you can find out which one might be the best one for you, depending on your situation. For example, for even me too, sometimes I use a different credit card for different things. So an example would be how for American Express Platinum, I get 5x at airlines if I buy directly. So if I buy a ticket with Southwest, I can also get the 5x on airlines. And also I'll have the airline incidental credits that I can use for Southwest on my American Express Platinum card. Meanwhile, if I was to book a car, I would use my Chase Sapphire Reserve because that gets 3x in travel. And also on American Express Platinum, that card is considered secondary coverage for the auto collision damage waiver. Meanwhile, on Chase Sapphire Reserve and Preferred, it's considered primary. So you don't want to have something that's secondary coverage. You want something that has primary coverage. So it's also about using the correct credit card depending on what you want to do. So let's do the math first. So when researching, you have to really look at the different benefits to see if that you can actually make money off the credit card based on your spending habits and based on your lifestyle. So an example is that, like, let's say like you're in New York City. So in New York City, you have LaGuardia, you have JFK, you also have Newark. One of the things about LaGuardia, if you guys notice, is that American Express Lounge is in both LaGuardia and at JFK. There's not one in Newark. So if you're American Express Platinum, you would want to fly out of LaGuardia or JFK because that's one airport lounge benefit you can take advantage of. There's no Priority Pass lounges at LaGuardia, so you wouldn't be able to use a different credit card for different benefits for Priority Pass. So if you had Priority Pass to Capital One Venture X, you cannot use that airport lounge benefit at LaGuardia. So you also have to be kind of like consideration of like which different airlines fly into different airports and also which different airports have the benefits that I can use. So that's an easy example for me as well. I'm based out of Los Angeles, so I have LAX. So LAX does not have a priority pass lounge with food. So if you have a credit card with priority pass, such as Chase Sapphire Reserve or Capital One Venture X, you can't even use that benefit for that card at the airport at LAX because it doesn't have the lounge you want. But because I have American Express Platinum, I can go to American Express Interior Lounge. So that's just one example. And again, like kind of like we discussed earlier, each credit card has different protections, such as travel protections, such as trip delay, trip cancellation, trip interruption. Some have entertainment credits for Disney Plus and Hulu, and then gym statement credit for Equinox. There's also benefits such as checking your bag, airline fee credits, and then cell phone insurance, Uber credits, Lyft Pink Airport Lounge, which we just discussed, and global entry and TSA PreCheck. Okay, so the 4 things we're going to discuss today are about airport lounge access, global entry membership, food delivery service credits, and auto collision damage waiver. So the auto collision damage waiver is when you rent a car. So that's what it means for that one. So the airport lounge access. So why is airport lounge access helpful? It's good because you can use this to go eat and drink before your flight. I've also used airport lounge access before where I actually slept in the airport as well and took a shower. So this was helpful when I actually had a layover when I was flying from LAX to Mexico City to Cancun. When I'm on my Mexico City leg, I was able to go to this interior lounge and also like shower there. I had a 14-hour layover. So what I did was that I took a shower at the American Express Interior Lounge, and I also like freshened up and everything, had food and stuff there because I had airport lounge access. And then while I was there, I dropped off my stuff in the lockers, and then I just took an Uber to explore the city in the meantime. So that's how one example of how airport lounge access might be helpful for you if you have like a layover. Also, if you want to get like food and drinks before your flight. I've also used airport lounge access to print out stuff before. So 2 weeks ago, I was in the Bahamas. So I was at American Airlines Animals Club. So I actually had to print out something for the hotel. They told me that they wouldn't let me have a digital copy, that I had to print out something for them to when I arrived at the airport, just because they wanted to take my confirmation number that they were going to pick me up from the bus. It was like a shuttle bus to the I was staying in Bahamas at what's it called? Oh my gosh, Atlantis. And they wanted me to have a paper copy. So what I did was when I was at I was at American Express also has printing, but I was also at American Airlines Animals Club. So when I went to my Animals Club, I used a printer for free too. So that's how airport lounge access can help you slightly with different things. You might use it for printing. You can have food and drinks. When I was at the American Express Interior Lounge in Miami, I also got they had nails there too. And then they also had massages, and that's included too. But I just tipped like them $5 for that. So yeah, there's a lot of different things you can do in airport lounges. So it depends on where you're going and which things you would look into. So this is the standard rate for airport lounge access. This is for priority pass. So this one, you can see the normal rate when it might be $69 to $469. But luckily, you can use credit cards that actually have these benefits where you don't have to pay for a priority pass membership. And instead, you can use that credit card that might have the benefits that you want. So airport lounge access. So this is where it's broken down depending on a different situation. So the one for priority pass restaurants, so Chase Sapphire Reserve, that's a very easy one. So that one, this is the only card right now that you can actually use for priority pass restaurants. Earlier this year, Capital One removed the option for restaurants and spas on the priority pass. So if you're a person that lives in an airport that has only a priority pass restaurant, so an example would be in Fort Lauderdale in Florida. That place, that airport has a Centurion Lounge alternative that just opened there, an escape lounge, but they also have a priority pass with a restaurant. So in order to get into that priority pass restaurant, you would have to have a Chase Sapphire Reserve card because your American Express Platinum card would not let you in there, but you can go to the escape lounge with your American Express card. The next one is the best card for departure and arrivals. So if you fly a lot, a good card that you might want to take advantage of that people like to use the City Advantage card. So you have to fly on a One World Alliance the same day. So in order to take advantage of this, even though it's issued by American Airlines, if you fly something on One World, such as Alaska, American Airlines, British Airways, Eva Air, there's a bunch of other One World partners like Qatar, you can actually use the lounge when you arrive and depart. So that's very helpful. So I actually did this when I was flying to Bahamas a few weeks ago. So before my flight, I actually went to Emerald's Club, and I didn't have the membership through the credit card because I was like, another gateway is that if you, depending where you fly, most of the times if you fly an international route, you would get access to the lounge. So because I had one leg where I was flying business class to go to Bahamas, they let me into the American Airlines lounge. But if you're to fly first class domestically, they wouldn't normally not let you in there unless it's a specific route. So when I got upgraded from LAX to Miami, what happened here? When I got upgraded from LAX to Miami, for that flight, because I was not on the specific aircraft that American Airlines wanted for first class, they wouldn't let me into the lounge. I was on a neo bus, but the aircraft that they wanted was an A380. So it kind of depends on A737, not A380. I'm thinking of Qatar. I wasn't on the right aircraft. So usually a gateway behind that is that if you have this American Airlines credit card, you can even fly basic economy and you can still get into the lounge because you're a card holder. And one of the favorite things that people like to do about this is that if you have a big family, you can add authorized people to the credit card. So you can add up to 10 people for free, and then they can also bring in guests. So it's kind of like, let's say like you and your sister, if you and your sister were traveling with like 2 people each, you can bring 2 people and then she can bring 2 people. So that's 6 people total. And because this credit card lets you add up to 10 people, there's no age limit, there's no restriction where the person doesn't have to live with you or anything like that. And you can add them to the credit card where they can still get lounge access and add 2 people. This is one of the very few credit cards that you can do this, but you have to fly a One World airplane that same day. So it either has to be like British Airways, American Airlines, Alaska. It has to be one eligible like flight that's under One World for the Alliance, and you can do that. So the best credit card for solo travelers is actually American Express Platinum. So this one, it's good because this one has City Lounge, it has Priority Pass for like no restaurants, Escape Lounges, and Delta Sky Club, but you have to fly Delta the same day. I actually like this credit card a lot because I'm based out of LAX, so I cannot go into the other lounges unless I'm flying Delta the same day. So the strategy behind me when I did this one when I flew American Airlines instead was that because I knew that the American Airlines flight was almost the same price as Delta, but because I had American Airlines status, I knew I could get a potential upgrade. So when I did that, I actually did it that way where it was like a loop around behind airport lounge access where because I got upgraded in a flight to business, it let me go into the lounge. But if you don't have any like statuses like that, it's good to look into this credit card to see if that one will work best for you. Because if you have a big family and there's no age limit, you can even have like, let's say like a 13-year-old get added to this credit card. And then they can like get in and then they can like invite 2 people in. So it's a very good hack where you can stack a bunch of people to come into the American Airlines lounge for this one. But for American Express Platinum, unfortunately, they just changed the rule recently where you have to, for Centennial Lounge, they actually just changed it like a week or 2 ago, starting February 1st, where you cannot bring any more guests and stuff. So this is why it's best for solo travelers because this one has the most lounges, but you can't bring people unless it's Priority Pass Select where you can still bring 2 people, but you can't have restaurants. So you can easily see here how this one is good if you have Priority Pass restaurants because this one's strict to American Airlines if you're flying One World, and then this one is strict in the sense where it's like you have more lounges that the other ones don't have. And then the best one for families is actually Kappa One Venture X, because this one, it's similar to the American Airlines one, except this one is not restricted to only flying an American Airlines like flight or a One World flight. You can fly any different flight. You can even fly Spirit. I actually did that last time. Actually, I bought a basic economy ticket on Spirit and I went to Dallas. I went to Dallas where the Kappa One Venture the Kappa One lounge is, and I actually got in that way. So like it doesn't matter for these 3 if you fly like Spirit or fly first class or business class, you can still get in. And this one you still have to fly specifically a One World like Alaska, American Airlines, or British Airways. So this one's best for families because for this one there's no you can go to any lounge that's Priority Pass. And then you can also go to Plaza Premium Kappa One Lounge and you go fly any airline versus this one's strictly American. So it depends your situation. If you fly a lot of American, you're at a big American Airlines hub like Dallas, this might make the best sense for you. So it just depends on different situations. So this is how a lounge looks like. This is an example for Denver.
Yeah, supposed to go to Target. I don't know how I ended up here.
So this is at the Denver lounge there. Oops. Why is it
Y'all,
not
I was
letting me
supposed to go to
next? Oh, sorry.
Target.
Letting me go to the next slide. Oh, here it is. Okay, so in the next, I think we skipped. Okay, that's the next thing we're going to talk about is global entry. So this is a very important. When you sign up for a credit card that has TSA and global entry, you want to sign up for global entry. And the reason behind that is because global entry includes TSA pre-check, and they only give you that credit once every 4 years. So you don't want to waste it. You don't want to sign up for TSA pre-check where they don't have global entry, because once you get the credit on the credit card and use it, you cannot retrofit it back. You have to wait another 4 years. So you would either have to wait another 4 years to get it back to use another credit, or you can sign up for a different credit card that also has a global entry benefit. The perk behind this also for using a credit card with global entry is that you can also give to somebody else. So for my brother's girlfriend, she actually used mine on my Southwest business card, where I just paid for her global entry applicant for on my Southwest business card, because I had extra global entry credits from different credit cards. So she just used one of mine. So it doesn't have to be the card holder's name that has the global entry credits. So if you have multiple family members or multiple friends and you have a lot of different credit cards that have this benefit, since global entry does overlap with a bunch of different credit cards, this is a good perk to have. So if you want to give it to someone, they don't have to be the card holder. You just need to charge the membership against their card. And the perk behind TSA pre-check is that you don't have to take off your belt, shoes, and you can keep your liquids and laptops in your bag. And when you get into global entry, it's a lot faster. So when I was coming back from the Bahamas back to the US, I actually did global entry on the Bahamas side. So depending where you go, like when I did that before in Bahamas, also in Ireland, where like the global entries on the countryside, it's on select airports where you can do that. And the perk behind global entry is that if you want to rush an appointment, what you can do is that it doesn't have to be at your home airport. So this actually happened to me. So I got approved for global entry, and I was actually flying to Chicago like a week or two later, but there were no appointments available at LAX because they were really far out. I actually did my global entry appointment at Chicago, so it doesn't have to be your home airport. And also you can get it on arrival. So make sure if you get it on arrival back from an international flight, it has to be an international flight, by the way, make sure you double check what time you land and what time the global entry hours are, depending on the airport, so you don't have to wait, just because sometimes it could take a long time to wait out. I know when I was checking the appointment times for LAX, it was about like 4 or 5, 6 months down the line, versus I can book an international flight and get it on arrival if the airport's still open by the time I come back for on arrival. But I happened to be in Chicago like the following week, so that's why it was super easy, where I just got it right away. So some locations are more competitive and less competitive than others. So just keep that in mind. The best one actually for global entry, if you're a family, is actually American Express Platinum. And the reason behind this is that you can actually add a person to American Express Gold, but they have to be at least 13 years old. But when you have them added as American Express Gold versus American Express Platinum, they don't get the same benefits as American Express Platinum. But as American Express Gold, you don't pay an authorized user fee, and you can add as much as you want for the authorized users. So you can easily offset that. So if you have a big family, this is the best one for you, or you have a lot of friends that need global entry, you can add them as American Express Gold and pay for their global entry fee. But make sure you use their card number to pay, not the main card holder's card number, just because the numbers are different and you want the thing to trigger for that too. And depending on what you have for American Express Platinum, this actually happened to my friend over the summer, where for Dil Duchessa, I actually didn't join IG Reel with her, where we talked about this, is that she added her different family members and everything on there. So that's how she triggered the credit, and she got targeted for an offer from American Express where she stacked it, where she got targeted for like 20 or 30,000 points to add someone. So not only did she get an extra points for like adding someone for authorized users, she was also able to get her family members added for free by using them as American Express Gold, and also targeted for that too, where she got targeted for getting like 20 or 30,000 points for spending a certain amount of money on the card that she was going to use anyway to add them. And the best one for no annual fee the first year is United Explorer. You don't get charged an annual fee the first year. So if you want to get global entry right away and you're not ready to get a more high credit card like American Express Platinum, United Explorer is actually a very good option. You don't pay an annual fee the first year, and it's $95 annual fee after that. And you can charge the global entry as soon as you get the credit card. So I've done this before with Chase, where sometimes I might ask them if I get a new credit card in the mail to rush it. So as soon as I get approved, I might ask them like, hey, can you rush me my credit card? If you ask them to rush the credit card, most of the time they won't charge you a fee or anything. So this is good if you want to have it in clutch, if you have a very good upcoming appointment. American Express does that too, if they want to rush you a credit card or anything like that, they can rush it too. So you don't have to wait that long. And they usually don't charge. The only bank that doesn't really rush that well is Citi. That's what I've noticed. They're not really into like rushing credit cards as much, but American Express and Chase, they're pretty good about that. And also the perk behind getting a United Explorer card is that if you have a United Explorer card, you actually have, if you book a lot of flights with points and stuff, there's some points that you can book with because you have a United Explorer card versus a normal person might not have access to that yet because you're a card holder. And the perk behind this also is that you have checked bags here too. So you just keep in mind the different benefits of what you want. If you have a big family, might be better for you because you can add some for free as American Express Gold and not pay an annual fee for that part. And then you can add as much people as you want. They just have to be at least 13 years old for this versus this one. It's 1 by 1. The first year you don't have to pay anything, and then annual fee after that. So before you would cancel a card, I would wait at least a year before canceling the credit card and ask if they have retention offer for that to see if they can give you a statement credit or points to keep you as a customer. Okay, and then this is global entry.
I just don't enjoy it.
This
It's
line,
not an
the
enjoyable experience
TSA
for me.
pre-check where I literally
just,
skip
like,
by everybody
yeah.
else just because I TSA pre-check. So I literally rush through the line versus the normal line could get very crowded and everything. Also, I forgot to mention one more thing. For American Express Platinum, this also has Clear on it. It's not global entry, but you can use Clear and also TSA pre-check too. So that's even faster, where they use biometrics such as your eye or your finger to scan through the airport. So I actually use this whenever I go to LAX too. So that's one perk behind that. But the Clear is only for like, I believe for only one up to $189. So that's only up to one versus for the, if you have a big family, it might be better for you to get them, add them as American Express Gold. So then they can have more benefits behind that. And then,
I just don't enjoy it. It's not an enjoyable
sorry.
experience for me.
And then this one is, okay, so food delivery credits. So this is helpful if you order a lot of food delivery. I actually do this all the time when I'm in New York and LA too, where I might order food delivery from Uber, Grubhub, DoorDash, or anything else like that. So that's helpful for this. What's helpful is that a lot of the credit cards, they already have the credit cards benefits built in. So an example is American Express Gold. This one, if you think about it, when you do the math, if you get $10 each month, because each month is broken by $10 for Uber and for Grubhub, that's essentially $120 Uber and $120 Grubhub. That's $240 credits. So essentially $250 minus $240. If you order takeout at least once or twice a month, you already offset the annual fee almost for American Express Gold. And the benefit behind American Express is that they have a lot of coupons on the card called Amex offers. So you can easily use that for a merchant or so. I've done a lot of coupons in the past at different places, such as like a Marriott, Amazon, Sephora. They have a lot of different coupons on the card that you can take advantage of. I've also got retention on American Express Gold a few times already. So just by having that, you pretty much offset the fee. Another advantage for this also is that for American Express, if you have a corporate card, so I have a corporate card through work, I can actually get a discount on the card. So I get $100 statement credit. So I actually lose money by not having this credit card because for me, I get $120 Uber, $120 Grubhub, and because I have the corporate advantage credit, I also get an extra $100. So I essentially lose money by not having this credit card because I already order takeout like once or twice a month already. So if you do that already, you pretty much offset the annual fee for this one with just your spending habits. And you also get 4x at your supermarkets up to 25,000 and 4x at restaurants. So the best one for overall food delivery membership as a whole is the Chase Sapphire Reserve for this one, because this one has a DoorDash benefit on here. For this one, American Express took away the Uber Eats benefits like a year or two ago, so that one doesn't have it. But the hack behind that is that if you have Amazon, the Grubhub has that included. So the Grubhub has, if you have Amazon Prime, you get a Grubhub Plus, which you can use for American Express, which you can use for this Grubhub credit that you have here. And the Grubhub credit, you can also use it for somewhere else instead, like Seamless or Cheesecake Factory. That's just one another example. I think, okay, so this is wrong. I'm not sure, I didn't put this in here, but I think Erica added this by accident. Whole Foods and Amazon is not part of this, so that's wrong, but I can fix it after the presentation. But that's just one example for Chase Sapphire Reserve. For this one, the DoorDash credits are very helpful in the sense where you have Dash Pass, just because this one doesn't have the Uber Eats benefit anymore like it used to. A Dash Pass, you can get 5% back on pickup orders, and you can also have Live Pink, which also has a discount for Grubhub Plus. And the benefit behind this is that you get 3x also on food as well. So this one's actually very helpful for this too. I've done this before where I also order food when I'm in different places. So when I was in Chicago like a year or two ago, I actually used my DoorDash and American Express Gold credits on Uber and Grubhub and DoorDash to try the different pizzas there, just because I was like, okay, well, I have these credits anyway. The prices aren't that much different than the ordering from the restaurant itself. So that's how I was able to try all the different pizzas in Chicago. And you can actually use these benefits along with promo codes and stuff. So occasionally DoorDash might email me for promo code. It's same thing with also for Uber Eats and for Grubhub too. So you can layer on the benefits. A perk behind that is that Grubhub is usually on Rakuten. So for Rakuten, you can actually stack that with getting cash back first to Rakuten and then buying it on Grubhub and paying for American Express Gold for the credit. And then for Rakuten, if you have an American Express account with Gold, Green, or Platinum, you can actually have the you could switch it. Instead of earning cash back on Rakuten, you can actually earn American Express points instead. And American Express Platinum also has the Uber credits as well. But these two are applied better if you just strictly food for this one, just because American Express Platinum, if you order food, it's only 1x versus for this one, it's 4x, and this is for 3x for the spending category. Okay, so food delivery credit. So this is what happened. This is actually a funny example that I did with my friends when I was on a hike. So I'm
a travel hazard, so I don't wait in time for lines for like this. Look how big it is.
So everybody else was
pick up. And you just let Uber Eats credit that I have an Amex, so I don't pay for any of this or wait in this long line or anything.
So that's just one example. Like I actually skipped a line. I was actually with my friends, so it was funny as a joke because they didn't believe me. And I told them my food's can come out before yours. And I actually ordered mine on the Uber Eats app and I had a promo code on there and I actually got like rid of my credits and stuff. It wasn't that much more expensive than this where they're waiting line. So like I actually ordered my food faster with Grubhub and Uber where I had a promo code on both of them and my food was cheaper than theirs and I beat the line for them. So just something to consider when you go out with friends. If you're at a restaurant that lets you eat outside and also have Uber Eats and also Grubhub or DoorDash on there, if you can order it on the app and you're planning to go there anyway with your friends and order outside, they don't usually mind. Like they didn't care that I was ordering that for pickup to go and eating outside with my friends and stuff. So that's just one thing to consider, like how it blends into your lifestyle. If you go out with your friends to eat out and stuff, you can also use the delivery credits as well.
So I'm a travel hazard, so I
don't next slide. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Okay, so auto collision damage waiver. So this means that it's a primary rental car insurance on the credit card. So what you have to do is that you have to decline the rental company's collision insurance on the credit so if you go to Hertz, what you can do is that you decline their rental collision insurance because you already have on your credit card. You just need to tell them. So when I rent a car in Los Angeles, when I do road trips and stuff, I tell them that, and then they usually don't mind because they declined it and stuff. But if you're traveling overseas, it depends on each country because each country has different rules for like the car insurance, if they cover it or not. It turns out to be kind of beneficial. So my friend actually got in an accident in Scotland where the car got totaled, but because he charged everything on Chase Sapphire Reserve, they actually paid for everything in full for the auto collision damage where he got in a car accident. So he didn't pay a single penny. But he also had car insurance through his normal car, but he declined that. And imagine if he didn't get the credit card to pay for that bill for the auto insurance in Scotland, he would have had a lot of more money that he would have to pay for his insurance premiums like now for his current car because he used the car insurance benefits that he had. But instead what he did was that he used his Chase Sapphire Reserve for the auto collision damage waiver, so then he didn't have to pay for that. And each time for the rental car, it depends, but like for Hertz alone, I know they charge like $17 per day, so it can vary from one car rental to another car rental. Capital One Venture X also has this protection for the auto collision damage waiver, but I would say Chase Sapphire Reserve and Chase Sapphire Preferred are better just because they have slightly more protections. So they have the baggage delay, the lost luggage, trip delay, and all these different benefits. But some of the benefits I believe Capital One Venture X doesn't have, such as the baggage, the baggage delay they don't have. So that's why it's slightly better to use these two because they have slightly more insurances. The only one that I would say is missing from Chase Sapphire Preferred versus Capital One Venture X is that Capital One Venture X has emergency evacuation versus this one doesn't have emergency evacuation. So I would compare both ones to see which one you want more. Overall, Chase is the best because it also has roadside assistance and it has the baggage delay. So that's very helpful in case something happens. The roadside assistance, I actually used it before when I was in LA. There was actually happened last year where my car wouldn't start. So I actually called Chase through the roadside assistance, and then they had someone come and tow my car to the local car shop near my house, and then I got like a new battery and everything else for my car. So that's helpful, where it could come in kind of in clutch when you're in situations like that, just for your credit card. And imagine if I called the towing by myself, I would have paid like $100 or so, but because I had the protection of my credit card, I didn't have to pay for the roadside assistance. I didn't fill out any paperwork or anything whatsoever. I did it through Chase, so they did everything on their side for the roadside assistance. So that's why I say this one's slightly better than Capital One Venture X and Chase Sapphire Preferred if you have this credit card. But it depends what you do, because if you do a lot of road trips and stuff, this one is better for you. But if you fly a lot of airlines, American Express Platinum might be slightly better, just because that's 5X airlines versus this is only 3X on travel. So this is just like a quick summary of all the different benefits and stuff.
Who invited you guys?
So you can see on this example how, like, when you see people paying for these things when they're traveling, such as like flights and hotels, you can use different points and credit cards, credits on the credit card. So an easy example is that for Chase Sapphire Reserve and Capital One Venture X, they each have a $300 credit. So the Chase Sapphire Reserve is more flexible. You can use the $300 travel credit anywhere, versus Capital One Venture X, it has to be in their portal. But you also can transfer out to different airlines and hotel partners to book your hotels. If you have a credit card for the ones that we mentioned, like Capital One Venture X, Chase Sapphire Reserve, American Express Platinum, they don't charge any foreign transaction fees. The auto collision damage, which we just went over for Chase Sapphire Preferred and Reserve, they have that built in. And then for the food and drinks at the airport, if you have the airport lounge access, that's already built in for you, so you don't have to pay for that beforehand. So you can see how these things can easily add up and everything if you don't use your credit card right. So if you had a credit card sign-up bonus, for example, for, let's say, for a Chase Sapphire Reserve, you could have used the $300 credit or transfer out the flights out to British Airways, for example, to get the to book the flight. You could book the hotel through Hyatt or Marriott. That's the transfer partner for Chase. There's no foreign transaction fees. They also have the car rental for the all collision damage waiver, depending on where you want to go, and then the food and the drinks at the airport. So this, you can see how this can easily pay for itself entirely. Oops. So you can see here how the different credit card perks and benefits add up a lot, just because it's not all about getting the different sign-up bonuses. You actually have to remember that if you use a card, it can essentially pay for itself, kind of like the American Express example I gave for American Express Gold, where they has the Uber, they have the Grubhub credit, so it easily outweighs the benefits. So you can see how you can easily make money off the credit card. So also, before buying anything, you also want to think about, like, can I use any existing benefits on the credit card? So an easy example is that for right now on the Chase Freedom Flex, this one has no annual fee, but they have 5X at Target. So I would use that credit card, because if I get 5X at Target and there's also purchase protection on there, versus just using a debit card, I wouldn't have the purchase protection or extended warranty. But my Chase Freedom Flex, even though it's a no annual fee card, that one has it, and also has the cell phone protection on the credit card. So you can think about your existing purchases and just analyze from looking at your different spending categories and different things that you buy on a monthly basis to see, like, which credit card makes the most sense for you. Okay, and then I'm actually launching my course the end of the month in February. It's going to be live from February 28th to March 28th. So if you guys are interested, where you want to learn more about different credit cards and different benefits and stuff, we'll go over this more into detail. It's going to be every Tuesday from 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And there'll be a live Q&A for you to ask questions and everything. So I'll go over the travel hacking, the basics and everything too, about like what different credit cards to use, the different sign-up bonuses. And actually, I'll go over also how to actually use the different transfer partners. So an easy example for the transfer partners, kind of like what I was talking about for British Airways, for Hyatt hotels. The most recent trip I went on where I used points, I'm trying to think, 2 weeks ago, I went to Bahamas, and I was in Puerto Rico before that, but I went to Abu Dhabi and Dubai in September, October. And that one, instead of paying $6,000 for my flight, I flew business class because I transferred my points out to Air Canada to book my I booked on Etihad, and on the way back, I flew in Qatar Airways in business class from transferring an airline. So if you want to learn how to do stuff like that, where you can actually maximize the different reward points and everything, that one might be very helpful for you, just because a lot of people think that for a credit card, 1 point equals 1 cent, but that's actually not correct. If you learn how to use the different types of flights, hotels, and different airline transfer partners, you're going to learn how to actually use that more. And I also go over different kind of credit card benefits, kind of like the examples we gave to you, but I also go over stacking. So another example on the credit card is that you can also stack with a credit card, where there's other different benefits on the credit card in addition to the benefits and perks we just talked about today. They also have coupons on the card. They also have portals. There's actually more stuff you can actually make more money off the credit card potentially. We didn't have a chance to go over all those in the presentation today just because we're limited on time, but I'll be going that for more details. And if you sign up, I have a $20 coupon for you guys as well. So we will be going over those things. We will learn from the get-go from start to finish of how to become a better travel hacker. And I feel like this is helpful for anyone, even if you travel at least like once or twice a year. There's a lot of different travel hacks that you might not know about that you can easily save money on travel. So we'll go more into detail, especially with the different points and transfer partners. That might be the most helpful for you guys, just because learn how to use the different transfer partners are very imperative, because one airline might charge you more than another. So when I was actually flying United, like this is like a year or two ago, it was actually cheaper for me to book the flight through was it through Turkish? I'm trying to think. It was either Turkish or this other one I was using. Oh, Avianca. So through Avianca, the flight was only 7,500 points, but on United, they went it close to like 10 or 20,000 for the same flight. So it's good to know the different transfer partners and how to check for availability to see which one's best for you. Also, some different transfer partners, if you do like a layover or a stopover, those are very beneficial for you to know. So when I can go over those different examples where you might want to book a specific airline or specific aircraft just because they have more benefits than other airline partners, and you cannot get the same ones for booking it directly with cash. So we're going to go over the different transfer partners and different airline programs and different hotel perks and stuff, such as getting like free hotel nights, stacking different benefits. I've also used my hotel benefits to get free cruises as well. So we'll be going over all the different types of examples and everything of how like, I'm actually going on a cruise next week, and I'm actually going on that cruise for free because through a loyalty benefit I have with one of my different credit cards that I stacked with. So we'll be going over that detail too. I went on another cruise in December as well to Puerto Rico, and I'm going to an Alaska cruise in August too. And all those were through different hotel and loyalty programs where I just stacked and used different benefits on each one. So I'll go over the concept, and you can just get like 1 or 2 credit cards and you'll learn how to do the same thing. So you could potentially save thousands of dollars with that too, for that little hack that I have. So I guess we can open up to questions now.
Yeah, thank you so much,
Sorry,
Angel.
there's like a boatload of information.
Yeah, so much, but it's a lot. Like you had so much to share, so thank you so much for sharing it all with us. Yeah, everyone was just asking so many questions in the chat, so
I'm going to go through them.
Yeah, let's get started, because I want to be respectful of everyone's time. So we have a bunch of different questions. So there was a number of questions about the global entry. So
let's go back to that slide one quick.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah. So people were asking, like, do you recommend that? What about for people who only maybe travel internationally like once a year? Is it still like worth it? Some people were asking about is it kind of backlogged? Like you mentioned that it can be like quite a long wait out. But you did kind of like share a bit about how to get around that.
Okay.
But do you still find that as a good and viable option?
Yeah, I mean, you guys saw the example I gave of this airport, right? Where how like there's like a bunch of people in this line, in the normal line. There's nobody on my side of the screen where there's nobody there. So like, oops, why is it going really quick?
I just don't enjoy it.
Sorry, one second.
And
Hold on, let me go back to the presentation. So, and also this was the link. Hold on. No, I feel like I clicked too many things and then everything just goes everywhere all of a sudden. But yeah, the link for the course is also for here too. It's for this one. Let me go back to that site over here. So the question that you guys had for this one for the oh my gosh, sorry. This is what happens when like you just click like one little thing and everything just kind of goes everywhere. But where was the global entry for this one? Okay, how do I minimize this? Oh wait, I click share, right? I click share. Is this no
slideshow?
Oh wait, hold on. I need to like, I don't know why this is the green thing right there, but
there you go. Yeah.
But the global entry. So go over the first question. What's the first question that you had again?
It was like, if someone only travels internationally once a year, is it still worth it to get it?
It's helpful because the global entry includes the TSA pre-check, especially when you get a credit card. Like think about this one, this United card, you don't have to pay for it the first year. And as soon as you get the credit card in the mail, you can charge this against global entry. I mean, if you really don't want to get global entry because you're afraid of the backlog, what an easy hack is that for TSA pre-check, you can actually go to Staples, the office store, and you can go to Staples and actually get TSA pre-check there. So like that's one hack if you don't really fly internationally. I mean, personally for me, I wouldn't waste a credit because I'd rather get the global entry including TSA pre-check. But if you're in clutch where you need that thing ASAP because you have a trip and you have more than one credit card that has the benefits, so you don't mind wasting a credit, that's just one easy hack where you can go to Staples and get the TSA pre-check too. So that's pretty quick.
Definitely. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's super helpful. Yeah, for me, I mean, I just think of it as like it's time is money. So like how much time are you going to spend in that line? You know what I mean? Versus,
I mean, you
like,
saw the line that I showed you guys in the
over...
video where there's a bunch of people. I just walked straight past them because I was in TSA pre-check. I mean, especially if you're flying on a connection flight, there's some airports that are super crowded and some don't even have terminals. So imagine you're flying in LAX, right? So LAX doesn't have a train, but if you have to connect on a flight from like, say like United to Alaska or from United to a different like airport terminal, you like, let's say you went from United airport terminal from Terminal 7 to Tom Bradley, that's a 20-minute walk that you would have to walk across to. So just keep that in mind too. Like if you have to switch stuff and everything too, like that's helpful as well, you know, in case you have to connect or bought a like positioning flight or connection flight too.
Yeah, definitely. And it only, I mean, you're getting it for free anyway if you get one of these cards. So it kind of just makes sense, right?
Yeah, like this one, you can literally get the first year. And then after like a little bit over a year, once the annual fee hits, like maybe a month or two, cancel the card if you don't get a retention offer for that one. But you would have to use up all your points and stuff first in United. But this one has like no fee the first year. And they have a sign-up bonus too. Like you can still use this benefit, like even before you get your sign-up bonus to charge against global entry for United. So like you have nothing to lose with this one, essentially. This one's like the super easiest one where it has no annual fee the first year. And the same
that's an awesome hack.
Yeah. And then Capital One Venture X, that one also has a benefit too, where it's like $395 for the annual fee, but they give you $300 travel credit to use in the portal. And then they give you also a $100 anniversary credit. So you're only paying, like you make $5 off that credit card too. So that's another example too, where that one has the airport lounge access with priority pass in it.
Awesome. Okay. So on to lounge access. I'm kind of trying to group these. So, cause I know you have these like
so this one's lounge
super
access.
helpful. Yeah. So talking about lounge access. So someone,
sorry, it's not letting me go back. Sorry, I'm trying to go back, but it's not letting me. Okay, so this is the airport lounge access.
Yeah. So people someone was asking specifically about a Delta card, like if you know about getting lounge access and global entry with Delta. I know that there is a couple of Delta cards that do that, but I don't know if you have a Delta card or could speak more about those kind of perks.
Okay, so I believe the Delta Reserve is the one that has that one. It's the more expensive card. It's not the cheaper cards. So like you would have to take that in consideration. But for me, I already have American Express Platinum, so I don't need a Delta card because I can just use my American Express Platinum card to go into the Delta Lounge. So for me, I don't use it because I already have this. So it's not relevant to me. That's the thing. And also because I have American Airlines status. So I have Platinum Pro with American Airlines. So it makes more sense for me to usually buy an American Airlines flight over a Delta flight. Just depending what I'm doing, you know, like for when I went to Bahamas, I bought American Airlines because I knew if I got upgraded to business, which I did, I got upgraded to business and first class for a complimentary upgrade. For that one, I got access to the lounge for free. So it's like, it depends what you're doing for your situation. But if you really like Delta, I would look at this one. This one, I have an Instagram reel I posted like a day or two ago about how to make money off American Express Platinum. So that's a very easy one. Like if you use all the different credits on this credit card, such as like the airline incidental credits, the Uber credits, the other credits that they have on there, I can send it afterwards. It's on my Instagram.
Yeah, a few people were asking for the people asking for the presentation or whatever. So I'm sure you can send everything in the email that goes out.
I could do that too
afterwards. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Okay, someone asked about importantly about does your credit score get hurt if you apply for a number of cards? Because we're talking about a bunch of different cards here, and I know a lot of people are apprehensive about that. So could you speak on that a little bit?
So my credit score actually went up. So you have to think about credit utilization, the amount of credit that you have. So what might happen is that the first month or two when you get a credit card, you actually drop in credit. Actually, I have an example. Actually, hold on. Let me just go back. Let me see if I go to Instagram actually, because I have that broken out. It's in like my Instagram somewhere. Oh, hold on. I have like so many different things open. So it's like,
don't worry about it. Don't worry.
yeah.
No, just in general, because
Yeah.
now everyone has a million questions. So don't worry about like finding it specifically.
Yeah.
But
But actually, my credit score went up because of credit utilization. So if you pay your credit cards in full and everything, that's a higher percentage than the hard inquiry. The hard inquiry makes like only 10% is new credit versus the payment history and the new credit and stuff. That's like more important for your credit score. So that essentially boosts up your credit score more if you actually have more credit cards. So what I might do, like a hack behind that, is that if I know I'm doing something, so I actually did this the other day, where I'm getting 2 American Airlines credit cards just because I could get one from Barclays and I could get one from Citi. I applied for both of them the same day because a hard inquiry hits the same day. So after like when it expires within like a year or two, sorry, like I believe it's 2 years for that one to expire, then it drops off the same day for my hard inquiry. But so far, like to be transparent, I actually have 9 hard inquiries. My credit score is still an 800. Just because of all the new credit, like the new credit utilization I have with all the different credit line balances and stuff. So like even for me, if a person with like a 9 inquiries, like I have like pretty much an 800 credit score. So
yeah,
it's like
same happened to me too. I got the platinum this year and another card this year, and my credit score, I mean, it dips for a bit and then it just goes up, like you said. So
yeah,
yeah,
well, it's
I
only
think
a bit because it hits your credit report for the new what's it called? It's like new credit where it's 10%, but the more important one is the payment history and the credit utilization, which is more than half the credit score, the credit utilization and the payment history. But because that percentage is higher, if you put everything, so as soon as I got a credit card, I put everything on auto pay so I don't forget to pay for it. And I have that turned on. And then also for the credit card, as soon as I get it, I also like link it to different programs and stuff like that. So as soon as you get a credit card, you can do things like that to protect yourself. So I never actually missed a payment ever for my credit cards.
awesome.
Right,
Okay. Also, what's that?
No, I went to the wrong slide. I was like, we were talking about global entry, and then like, because I like when I moved out, it kind of like went everywhere. I know why did Target? Sorry, it keeps doing that when I do switch.
Yeah, it's like autoplay. So a few people asked about travel insurance, and I think that's super important to kind of touch on. So someone asked, like, do you need to get separate travel insurance for medical issues, or do you just use your credit card insurance? And like people were asking specifically about like the Chase ones, like the reserve.
Okay. So for me, I actually, for me, my workplace, it depends on workplace, right? For like the health insurance, they said I can use it internationally. So I would double check if your employer too can use your health insurance abroad or different places. So for me, I actually don't have the extra health insurance. I probably should, but I actually have never used it before. The only thing I actually filed on Chase was the roadside assistance. That's the only thing I ever filed it for, but I never like been filing for any other claims or anything whatsoever. But I've had friends who filed claims before, kind of like the example I was giving for the car accident. My friend who got in a car accident for the auto collision damage waiver, Chase paid for everything in full. He just had to send in the receipts and everything. It was pretty seamless for him as well when he had to file that.
Yeah, I've also applied for roadside assistance twice with Chase, and it was great. But I haven't used medical. I do get travel insurance just in case. But yeah.
I mean, you can get travel insurance in case if you're going to somewhere very like nice and stuff. So like, let's say like I went to Maldives in September. Like I didn't get travel insurance for that one, but like it would have been like if you're very scared or you're going on a very nice vacation that you book with points or something else like that, you want to have the travel insurance as backup, right? And it's not super expensive, but for me, I was fine with like risking it. So I was fine with that. But everyone has their own different risk tolerance, you know? So I would also double check of like the country you're going to. So when I was researching Maldives and Dubai, they had really low COVID rates. The COVID rates in Dubai and Maldives was actually lower than Los Angeles as a whole. So I was actually kind of surprised by that because there's more vaccinated people in those countries. So I was fine with risking it because I knew the place I was going to wasn't high in COVID. But if you're kind of cautious where you're traveling to a place that might be high in COVID rates or something else like that, I would consider getting travel insurance too, just because you don't want to get stuck somewhere and not have the option to file a claim because it might be a lot of hotel nights you might be paying for like being under quarantine or whatnot. So you just want to protect yourself.
Definitely. I've written a lot about travel insurance, so now I'm like, I get it every time.
Yeah, I mean, I've
But,
been lucky.
yeah.
Nothing has ever happened
Yeah.
to me. But I mean, granted, like I had that roadside assistance thing with I mean, that was at my house, so that was like super simple. But like, I've never actually had to file anything. I did have to file for
Yeah.
EU261 though. But the EU261, that one, the travel insurance is not covered through the credit card or through the other partners because that was a network issue. So when I was flying Aer Lingus, I was flying from Aer Lingus back from Dublin back to Philadelphia. For that flight, they didn't cover it because they said that it was a network issue, which is not in their terms. So like I couldn't use it for there, but because it was under EU261, the airline Aer Lingus, they actually mailed me a check. So they paid me for the delay and they covered all the hotel and other expenses on there. So it was fine for the travel insurance. But I got lucky in that situation where I was in Europe, because if I got delayed and got stuck in like, let's say Maldives or somewhere else like that for my flight, then I would have to pay extra, you know. So I would just be mindful of the places you travel to as well, the different rules and everything.
Gotcha. Okay, so there are a few people asking like, how do you keep up with all of these cards and all their benefits? People were asking about specific things like which card is best for groceries or which card is best for this. So like I know it's very specific to like what is best for someone, but like how do you keep up with all the cards, and do you recommend cards like Amex and Chase over like say a hotel card or an airline card?
Okay.
What's your thoughts on that?
Okay, so I'm actually gonna go over through my.
I just don't enjoy it. It's not an enjoyable
Doing
experience.
that, like whenever you click when you're trying to go through different slides and stuff. Oh my gosh, sorry. Sorry. I'm sorry, it keeps going. I have to go to the bottom. So I'm actually gonna go over this through my course too to see which one might be best for you depending on your situation. But if I want to give like a flat out answer without even knowing your situation, I would say I would prioritize the Amex and Chase cards over a specific hotel and airline credit card. And the reason behind that is because you don't want to be stuck with a hotel or stuck with an airline credit card, because you're restricted to that airline and that hotel credit card. Versus for Chase and Amex, if you're new to this, I would prioritize those first, especially Chase, because Chase has the 524 rule, and use those cards first because they're flexible. You could transfer in a hotel and airline for that one. You would have to work through a different strategy of like what we would go over. So for my Maldives trip in September, I actually sent my friend Marriott points because I opened the Marriott credit card to pay for her in points. So like what happens is that depending what your situation is and what kind of vacation plans you have in mind. I mean, we can go over that in the course too, because I'm going to go over different scenarios and stuff. And I have a live Q&A in the course where you can give me your questions and stuff, and I'll tell you what recommendations to do best on for that too. But like we can go over that as well. But if I had to give you a blanket statement, I would say like prioritize those first. But if you're going to something specific, like how I did something for like Maldives, where you have to plan how many points it takes to get there and also what airlines to use, what positioning to do, I would say it depends on the situation for that one. So it depends on if you have like a really upcoming trip or not, and if you find availability as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it just depends on factors.
Yeah, it does depend. It's all like what works for someone. Let me see. Let me just make sure, because I know we're at 9 and I want to close out and have a few announcements. I think could you go back to the slide about the food benefits? Someone was asking about that. I actually, now I'm not sure exactly what their question was. I think they just wanted to see it. But yeah, I think that's mainly about it. Someone was asking about how to use points to book travel. But I think that's kind of like probably more in your course. That's like such an in-depth thing that we can't won't have time to get into.
Yeah, we cannot go over through this one session.
We've had some other FYI to everyone. We've had some other online events like on travel hacking. So this one is like she's talking specifically about all the benefits. So we've had other ones we're talking about how to use your points in other ways and stuff like that. So you can go back to the replays for TNN plus people, and then you can see it all there. But yeah, so I will share my screen and just say a few closing announcements. Thank you so much for answering all those questions so in depth, Angel. And also for your amazing presentation. And I'm sure, like I said, I dropped her links in the chat a number of times. So definitely connect with her, because she's got a lot of amazing content sharing all about how to do all this. There's only so much she could have in 30 minutes, but you did like such a stellar job getting it all out there. So yeah, let me just share my screen again real quick. Let's see here. Oh, no, I don't want to share that. I want to share this. Okay. Yeah, so thanks everyone again for coming. So we have like some upcoming events that we have are about family travel, website. We have such a variety of events. So this is just like a little snapshot. And you can sign up, check them out on the website. We have like an amazing monthly book club that's happening with Rolf Potts. He's an awesome travel writer, and he is very generously coming on every single month to talk about his new book. But it's kind of like travel philosophy. It's super cool. If you're into travel, as everyone here is, I'm sure you'll have a lot to get out of his book, and he's going to be here with us every single month. So check that out. So like I said, we have in-person meetups, and you can find those. There's ones all over the US and a few like starting in different places around the world. I know we have one starting in Madrid, one in Singapore. Is that you?
Yeah, I was like, no, I didn't realize I used a photo right there.
That's so funny. I didn't realize either. Which one are you in? Which one? I'm trying to find you.
Put my photo there. I was like, oh.
That's funny. That just where you're on there. So yeah, so we have all these in-person events, and you can meet other people who are into travel in your own city. So that's pretty cool. I'm starting one in Buffalo very shortly. If anyone here on the call is in Buffalo, probably not, but you never know. And so like I said, we're super excited because we are starting group tours in full swing this year. Our first ones are leaving in the spring. We're doing a lot of spring tours, fall tours, because summer travel is crazy. So we want you to be able to experience the place without tons and tons of people. So we're going to a bunch of places in Mexico. Like I said, Costa Rica, I will be there. Jordan, Morocco. We have a bunch going in Europe that Nomadic Matt will be on. He's leading ones in France and Italy. There's one in Romania. We've got a lot going on. So definitely check it out. And yeah, that is about it. So I just want to thank everyone. Let me double check if there's anything else in the chat that I gotta respond to. Yeah, Kim says Ralph's book is great. It is great. So yeah, I hope to see you all at another future event. How do I stop sharing my screen? There we go. So weird. But yeah, anyway, thanks everyone for coming. I know a few people asked about the replay, and like I said, it's available for TNN Plus members. Everything we do is free, and so that's the one way where we gotta have, something coming in. So it's a very, very small monthly fee just to access all the replays, and you'll get the access to this replay, but also like our hundreds of ones in the past. So all of the travel hacking ones in the past, like I did one on house sitting. There's a ton in there, so it's totally worth it in my opinion. It takes a lot to put on these events, and we couldn't do it without our awesome speakers. So thank you again to Angel for being here. And yeah, I think that's it. So I'll just let everyone go. We're just after the hour, so hope you have a lovely afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world, and look out for that email from us.
Tag me, Sam, Nomadic Network, and Nomadic Matt. Like if you have anything like helpful, just tag us, because kind of like what Sam was saying, like this helps keep the TNN alive, just because they look for volunteers, like for me to be speakers and stuff. They spend a lot of time setting up the events. I mean, as a typical business owner, from like some of us have small businesses, like for our own travel businesses, it's expensive getting a Zoom account, it's expensive setting up a website, all these different expenses add up. So it's helpful for them if you support by like showing like even tagging us in IG stories or donating money, or just getting TNN Plus membership where you can get replays for the other things that you might have missed.
Yeah. Thanks for saying that. Let me drop your links again to just make sure that people know where to find you. And definitely, yeah, tag us. I'll put mine in. I'm not an influencer.
But you can put Nomadic Network in there, right? Because I bet
Nomadic Network.
But I'm pretty sure like Nomadic Matt would appreciate too, because then he like posts his IG stories and stuff. He's like, I invest so much in this organization. Like I want to see
100%.
people going to my events and stuff,
We want to hear it. We want to hear it. We want to see it. So thank you. Yes. All right. Yeah, totally. Thanks for saying that. That's so true. And it's just nice to hear that it's helpful. So yeah, without further ado, I guess I will sign off. And again, thanks again to Angel, and thanks again to everyone for being here. We'll catch you later.